Merhabalar. Her hafta olduğu gibi ülkenin ifade özgürlüğü gündemini sizler için takip ederek kayıt altına almaya çalıştık. İşte bizim gözümüzden geçtiğimiz 7 günün bir özeti.
On July 30, the first day of the Muharrem Fest, simultaneous attacks were carried out against Cemevis in Ankara. In Mamak district of Ankara, one person attacked the Şahı Cemevi. During worship, a woman was injured in a knife attack at the Türkmen Alevi Bektaşi Association. There were attacks against Tuzluçayır Democratic Alevi Association, Ana Fatma Cemevi, Gökçebel Village Association, Türkmen Alevi Bektaşi Association, and Batıkent Serçeşme Cemevi as well.
The Alevi Bektashi Federation, European Alevi Unions Federation, Alevi Associations Federation, Alevi Foundations Federation, Hacı Bektaş Veli Anatolian Culture Foundation, the Democratic Alevi Associations, and Pir Sultan Abdal Cultural Association made a joint statement and said, "We are aware that the main purpose of these attacks is to create an atmosphere of chaos and conflict in the country. They want to feed off the chaos and conflict before the 2023 general elections. Your contemptuous and humiliating approaches that subject Alevis to all kinds of inhuman assimilation policies prepare the ground for these attacks. Accept our demands and give our places of worship legal status. Take your hand off our faith and belief centers. Do not describe us. Get to know us."
44 political parties, associations, and initiatives, including our initiative, launched a joint statement and said the simultaneous attacks against Alevi institutions and Cemevis are the continuation of the tradition of organized attacks against people of the opposition, citizens with different beliefs, identities, and ideas, with the open or secret support and encouragement of the state. The social and political climate created by the policies of marginalization, ignorance, assimilation, and impunity towards the Alevis both normalizes and encourages these attacks. This attack must be enlightened in all its aspects. The perpetrators must be caught as soon as possible, and the anti-democratic and anti-secular institutions that allow these attacks to be carried out must be eliminated.
The Kurdistani Party chairman Ibrahim Halil Baran was sentenced to 2 years and 7 months in prison in the lawsuit filed upon the investigation in which he was detained in 2017 due to his social media posts and columns he wrote. Baran stated that he and his lawyer were not notified of the lawsuit filed against him at the 7th Criminal Court of First Instance on the charge of publicly insulting the state, and that the court didn't even refer to his testimony, and that they learnt about the decision by chance.
The Mardin governorate banned all kinds of protests and demonstrations, such as marches, press statements, and leaflet distributions throughout the city for 15 days more. Protection of national security and public order and the COVID-19 pandemic were cited as reasons for the ban, which excluded activities that the normal administration deems appropriate. Thus, the protest and demonstration ban, which has been applied uninterruptedly throughout the city since October 17, 2019, has reached 1,034 days.
The Istanbul Ümraniye District Governorate argued that the company workers who protested in front of the company they work for because they could not get their rights could create a noise pollution and banned the protest for 1 month. The police intervened against the workers protesting in front of Yapı and Yapı Construction and detained 11 people.
In Istanbul, the Justice and Development Party Çekmeköy municipality wanted to demolish the park in Mehmet Akif neighborhood, which is also an earthquake assembly area, and build a marketplace instead. The citizens, on the other hand, entered the park to watch guard for 62 days to prevent construction. At the end of the 62 days, construction machines entered the park accompanied by riot police. Intervening against the citizens, the police detained at least 12 people. Bir Gün reporter İsmail Arı, who followed the police intervention, was also prevented and threatened with detainment by the Çekmeköy District Deputy Police Director.
12 of the Furkan Foundation volunteers who carried out a simultaneous freedom march across the country for the president of the Furkan Foundation and its 19 imprisoned members were detained in Istanbul on charges of violating the law on meetings and demonstrations. 2 of the activists were released from the prosecutor's office and 10 of them were released from the court where they were transferred for arrest.
The police intervened against the members of the Union of Chambers of Turkish Engineers and Architects who wanted to make a statement in front of the Constitutional Court for the Gezi trial detainees. After the statement was not allowed, a brawl broke out between the chamber representatives and the police, who went to Ahlatlı Bel Park across the Constitutional Court building. The group, surrounded by the police, started a sit-in protest and read the press statement.
The sit-in protest, held in front of the municipality by the dismissed workers at GSM Media Social Health Services Company for more than a week with the demand of re-employment, was prevented by the police on the grounds of the governorate ban against protests and demonstrations. The company provides subcontracting services to the Izmir Metropolitan Municipality.
The press statement that was organized in front of Yedi İklim Publishing House in Ankara by the members of the Turkish Workers' Party on the allegations that the questions in the 2022 public personnel selection examination were leaked was not allowed by the police.
Artist Pervin Çakar's concert to be held in Mardin Artuklu University campus in May was not allowed due to the Kurdish songs in her repertoire. The artist said, "It shall not be questioned what languages are in an artist's repertoire. This is a crime against humanity."
The Dicle Fırat Journalists Association published the July 2022 report on rights violations against journalists. According to the report, at least 4 journalists were detained in 1 month. 1 was arrested. In July, the prosecution of 5 journalists continued in 5 separate cases. An investigation was launched against 1 journalist and a new lawsuit was filed against. 2 of the journalists on trial were sentenced to 2 years and 2 months in prison and a judicial fine of 10,110 Turkish liras. At least 1 media organization's website was shut down in the 1-month period. Access blocks were imposed against 16 news stories.
The Konya Fifth Criminal Judicature of Peace imposed a media blackout against the investigation file of Dr. Ekrem Karakaya, who lost his life as a result of an armed attack against him in the hospital he was working at in Konya. The same Criminal Judicature of Peace has previously imposed another media blackout against the news on the matter right after Karakaya's murder. The second decree was supposedly issued to protect national security and public order and to ensure the proper conduct of the investigation.
The website of Etkin News Agency was once again blocked from access by the Diyarbakır 4th Criminal Court of Peace on the grounds of the protection of national security and public safety. Thus, the agency's website was censored for the 45th time in total.
The news about Abdurrahim Boynukalın, a former Justice and Development Party parliament member who was part of the group that attacked Hürriyet Daily in September 2015, was blocked from access by the Istanbul Anatolian Third Criminal Court of Peace on the grounds of violation of personal rights. Boynukalın had also requested a censorship against all the news about the attack at that time, and the news was censored.
Following 106 news stories related to the child found in the garbage house in Bursa, which were previously blocked from access by 2 separate verdicts of the Bursa Third Criminal Judicature of Peace, dated July 26 and 28. Another access block decree was issued on the related news, this time the news stories on the arrest of Pınar A., who kept a 9-year-old child locked at home, and the news that included the opinions of the child's brother were blocked by Bursa Third Criminal Judicature of Peace, again at the request of the Bursa Provincial Directorate of Family and Social Services. There was another decree that stated the news must be deleted and the broadcast ban was imposed on the subject.
The news about Ismail Yerlikaya, the Mersin Metropolitan Municipality Assembly member from the Justice and Development Party, who was found to be using illegal water in his workplaces and was fined, was blocked by the Mersin 4th Criminal Judicature of Peace with the allegation that his commercial reputation was damaged.
The Radio and Television Supreme Council launched an investigation on the Netflix series Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, which was requested to be cancelled because it featured LGBTQI+ characters. On the series, which is broadcast with a 18+ warning in Turkey, The Radio and Television Supreme Council Chairman Ebu Bekir Şahin said, "We are determined not to allow content that may negatively affect children and young people and that disregard our values."
Within the scope of the investigation carried out by the Istanbul Chief Public Prosecutor's Office, people have been detained during the police operation against the houses of People's Democratic Party Istanbul Youth Assembly members and district executives on July 29th. Among those detained, People's Democratic Party Assembly member Livan Orman and 4 Youth Assembly members were detained on the allegation of terrorist organization membership, and 7 people were released.
After Boğaziçi University Student Club announced that they would screen the censored films with a joint organization after the school administration banned the 3 films that Boğaziçi University Cinema Club wanted to show in the open-air cinema without any justification. The university rectorate issued an activity ban against the cinema club for a month for violating the rules of the organization of events. The rectorate further dismissed the club's board of directors.
Infectious diseases specialist Professor Dr. Esin Davutoğlu Şenol announced that 2 calf tongues were left in front of her office, that she was threatened with death, and that she escaped a murder attempt by chance. Şenol said that she received threats on social media from anti-vaccine accounts and has been filing criminal complaints for a long time, saying, "The criminal complaints we've made are responded to as freedom of expression, or no address was found." All of these are happening while the ministries and authorities such as the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Interior, which should follow up on the subject, remain bystanders to all of the violent abuses against me and other scientists, and the judiciary does not follow up on the subject by accepting these as crimes.
Despite saying that he had a list of death targets and sharing plans about how to kill whom, Mustafa Yücel, who was detained, was released after testifying. Yücel then shared on social media, "There is no stopping, just keep going." Professor Dr. Esin Davutoğlu Şenol, on the other hand, reacted to the release of the suspect by saying, "Impunity is incitement to crime. What happens after this is the responsibility of those who released them." On the other hand, Yücel continued his threats by sharing photographs of journalists Zafer Arapkirli and Ayşenur Aslan, as well as the Turkish Medical Association Central Council President Şebnem Korur Fincancı.
An unidentified person with a face mask carried out an armed attack against the business center in Yenişehir district of Diyarbakır, where many non-governmental organizations have offices. The attacker fled after firing 2 shots at the door of the building. In the business center in question, there are many non-governmental organizations such as Botan International, Women's State of Solidarity, Kurdish Studies Center, Diyarbakır Political and Social Research Institute, Sheikh Zayed Association, as well as law offices and commercial offices. The Reporters Without Borders Turkey representative Erol Önderoğlu demanded that necessary steps be taken to identify and penalize the perpetrator of the attack as soon as possible, and said, "We want all dimensions of the attack to be revealed." The Dicle Fırat Journalists Association also said, "We condemn the attack in the strongest possible terms, and we want those responsible to be found and penalized as soon as possible."
The Constitutional Court ruled that the freedom of expression of academics who were given a disciplinary penalty for signing the Academics for Peace petition was violated. The decree was issued unanimously, also bearing the signature of Supreme Court member İrfan Fidan, who personally conducted an investigation against 733 academics and ensured the arrest of 3 academics during his time as the Istanbul Deputy Chief Public Prosecutor. Fidan was elected as a member of the Supreme Court in November 2021, and without handling a single file there, he was appointed as a member of the Constitutional Court by President Erdogan in January 2021.
The Constitutional Court ruled that the right to organize meetings and demonstration marches was violated, with the administrative fines issued against those who participated in 29 separate protests organized in Aydın by the members of the Confederation of Public Workers Union and its affiliated Education and Science Workers Union. In Aydın between February 23, 2017 and March 25, 2017, 22 people who participated in 29 protests and demonstrations against their dismissals have been fined 227 Turkish liras for each protest.
Haftaya biz yine burada olacağız. Yasaksız, ihlalsiz, sansürsüz bir hafta geçirmemiz dileğiyle.